Hey folks, it's Jared Manninen from the website TahoeTrailGuide.com. Just bringing you a little channel update today. It's March 9th, 2026. Kind of feels like the season is starting to really wind down. It's been a rough winter as far as the snowpack goes. We just went for pretty much all of January. After the Christmas and New Year's storm cycle, we had nothing until February 10th or 11th. So it was like over a month of no snow. And anyone watching on the western half of the U.S. definitely knows this because it's just been a rough one on this side of the country all season. That February 10th and 11th snowstorm dropped maybe 10 inches of snow in the higher elevation, which was super hopeful. I thought maybe it was a precursor to the bigger storm cycle that was to come through, which it actually was. During that follow-up storm cycle, the brunt of it, there was about 4 days worth of storm. It was a Monday through Thursday storm cycle. Dropped like 4 to 8 feet in the higher elevations. It was incredible. And many of us were very hopeful, especially at the cross-country ski center that I work at. We've been operating on limited terrain all season just because some of our more remote trails require a lot of snow because a lot of water features cross over. So we need to make proper snow bridges, and there's also some really big stumps and boulders that if we don't have enough snow, we can't safely run the grooming machine over that trail. We were hopeful we were going to be able to get those trails open, but less than a week later, we ended up with a devastating rainstorm that lasted a full 24 hours and basically decimated all the new snow. So instead of opening up more terrain, we were barely hanging on to the trails that we had groomed for the last month. It's very frustrating, demoralizing, heartbreaking, kind of took a lot out of me. On top of that, I am working essentially full time, so I'm just not able to pump out as many videos as I once did. So I like having the steady paycheck. I feel like I'm building my community even more by working full time, by being around the cross country center that much more, being able to teach a lot more, being able to connect a lot more. I've been able to work with the middle school and high school coaches a handful of times this season from South Tahoe, and that's been really rewarding. A lot of those coaches, to be honest, are parents of kids in the program. Some of them are former, high school racers, for example, that now teach at the high school level, and they decided that they would take on. So I've been able to coach, pun intended, them a little bit so that they can just be better coaches for their kids. So that's been really fun. We've also offered kind of an in-house clinic series of introduction to cross-country skiing. Kirkwood's owned by Vail, therefore I'm a Vail employee, and amongst the Vail resorts in Tahoe, we have Kirkwood, we have Heavenly, we have Northstar. I've had a lot of opportunities to work with ski and ride school instructors from Heavenly and Kirkwood, so they'll come over and do some cross training with me. And that's been super cool, being able to teach other instructors again and sharing with them my passion for cross-country skiing. I'm currently in the process of trying to get set up as adjunct faculty for Lake Tahoe Community College's Wilderness Education and Outdoor Leadership program. They want to start offering a cross-country ski course through that program or that department. We're going to try to get a spring quarter cross-country ski class going, but if that's the case, we might be doing a lot of patch skiing, meaning we may have to hike skis to snow on which to then ski and train. But I'm hoping to be able to do that, work for them, and be able to teach through that program. So again, just building community. At the same time, I've been preparing and training for my level 1 certification through PSIA in telemark skiing. That's something that I've wanted to do for years. I just want to work on my skills. So got a lot of irons in the fire plus my own personal education and learning process. It's great being a beginner again, and very humbling, but very rewarding. I've been doing a lot of groomer skiing this year on heavier duty gear, and that's been a whole process trying to understand how to use plastic, and stiff plastic at that. But this process for me has kind of mirrored kind of that historical experience of many telemark skiers, which is to say 70s, 80s, 90s, skinny skis, maybe 3-pin boots, but leather boots, soft boots, right? Learning that, and then eventually getting into stiffer, more plastic boots with wider skis, more side cut in shape. And I'm really grateful that historical evolution of skiing in general for telemark skiing is also my personal evolution, because as one of my mentors going through this process has mentioned many times before, is that many people are self-taught. They haven't had any real formal training. They may ski with people who have done a lot of telemark skiing, but they just haven't taken many lessons or gone to many clinics for that, for example. So you get a lot of folks that come to a modern day telemark lesson with a ton of different experience and background. You may end up with a lesson where somebody's coming in with a 3-pin binding on a 98 millimeter tip with backcountry cross-country ski like I run, like my S-bound 98s, for example, and leather boots. And then you may get on the other end of the spectrum, just somebody in NCN bindings boots with a super stiff, damp, curvy, hard pack carving ski. So you just have to be prepared for that. And essentially, skiing is skiing. You just learn how to ski the gear that you have based on the terrain conditions. Not all of it's going to be the same. You're going to be moving your body different. You're going to be executing techniques slightly different. So it's just a great learning experience. I've been going up to Northstar and training telemark with a clinician up there, and he's been my mentor. And then last week, or this past week, Thursday and Friday, I was at the ski resort called Sky Tavern. It's a really small ski resort off of Mount Rose Highway, near Mount Rose Ski Resort, but a separate entity. And I was there for an official PSIA 2-day clinic called Telemark Rendezvous, or Tele Rendezvous. So there's 35 of us with about 5 clinicians, and just doing a lot of telemark skiing. And there's hard pack conditions, pretty challenging for me. But one of the clinicians that I worked with basically set us through a whole progression on how to ski hard pack snow, and it was great. It was super, super informative. Sunday is my Friday, so after work yesterday, for example, I drove down to Carson City to spend the night with one of my best friends and his family. It was his birthday this weekend. I wasn't able to make his, the bigger party, so I came and just stayed with them. Had a nice dinner, drank some whiskey, played some chess. Probably shouldn't have drank the whiskey while playing the chess because I did not win. And then this morning we went out, had breakfast. It's his day off as well, and we were just driving around. We got he's a buddy I go hunting with. I don't hunt, but I'll go look for birds and stuff. And I still like target practice, so we went out and did some target practice on using a couple of his long guns, and that was super fun. That's the first time I've shot a rifle in a bunch of years, and I'm happy to report I'm still pretty darn good at it. After that, we drove around looking for birds, and then lo and behold, we ended up on a kind of a peak, a mountain, and there were good patches of snow. I happened to have some skis in the car, so I threw them on and did a mile of lapping this little patch of snow. So today was day 75 on skis. I'm still gonna get my 100 days. I will continue to find snow, and I will continue to ski. But I suspect a lot of skiing moving into this later part of the season, we'll be patch skiing, looking for those sections of fun corn-like snow. Oh yeah, I forgot, incorporating into my skiing practice the whole uphill access thing before work, on my days off once in a while. So yeah, that's a whole other element. So just doing a lot of skiing, but doing it a lot at the resorts, because that seems to be kind of where the most consistent snow has been. And that's a direct result of all the grooming that takes place. So it works the snow, compresses it, but it just holds longer. So that's probably going to be where I end up doing some late season skiing as well, is just going to Heavenly, for example, and skiing some of the runs that are still holding snow. But all of these great things that I've been able to do this year just have taken a lot of mental capacity too, a lot of logistics and coordination with the coaches, with these clinics and that sort of thing. So I just haven't had nearly as much time as I had hoped to produce more videos. So again, I apologize for that, but you guys are all great viewers, and I know you know that this is not my full-time thing, so it's all good. I like being able to share all this passion that I have for cross-country skiing and cross-country downhill and backcountry cross-country skiing, all that stuff. I love sharing it with you guys, so I really appreciate all your interactions and communications and support. So I guess I'm gonna close. I'm almost home. I desperately need a shower and I need to eat dinner. So yeah, take care, folks. Thanks for sticking around.